Alright, so it's getting the messages this time. Good. There it goes. Okay, it's a good color. Jesus. Alrighty. Let's get to it. Close that on out. Just kind of leave that in the background. Or really, I should probably keep that open. So today, what we're going to be working on is actually working with the server a bit. And you know what, I'll bring this with me. It's been a bit since I've streamed, but I have done a bit of stuff, just not directly with the project. The biggest thing I was working on was cleaning up my node server here. I don't really like this being in a workspace, to be honest. There. Prefer that. But the big thing I was working on was cleaning up my Express server so that it actually looked halfway decent. Previously it was all in a single file, and now I've kind of split it up into a bunch of files, and I'm really trying to do a lot more compositional programming, where everything only knows what it needs to know. And I haven't done that very well with this project so far, with the Dungeon Crawler project and the previous streams. But moving forward, I'm going to try to. We'll see how it goes. And also, I do have the ENV hidden so that I don't accidentally click it while I'm streaming and whatnot. This right here doesn't really show you anything. I mean, it shows you what my environment variables are. None of them are very private. But just to be safe. Anyways, what we're primarily going to be working on today is the voting system. Let me see if I can get Obsidian open. Thought I had Obsidian. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. But we have two major, or really three major things we need to do to finish the API side of this project. To start with, we need the voting system implemented. We need some kind of routing / dispatch between the voting system and the dungeon crawler, and we need to integrate the dungeon crawler. And that is what we'll be working on. Well, I'll be working on the voting system to start with, then probably integrating this and then doing the routing. I'm kind of curious where my Obsidian went though. I use Obsidian a lot. I like the markdown documents. Alrighty, that'll work. So, how I've split up the API is we've obviously got index. Framework is for actually the foundation of the project, which right now is just WebSocket and Express app. Basically anything that's foundational and it's not something that I've built will go into framework. So it's like libraries, Express app, WebSocket, etc. You get the idea. Utilities, I've always defined utils as functions that can be pulled out of the project and used in another project or used in a myriad of projects. Helpers is for functions and such that are only useful within this project. Or at least that's how I've always thought about it. Config is just config for the project. Environment variables, constants, and the stream config, which could probably go into constants as well, but actually no, it couldn't. Not the way I've got it set up. Features is for actual features that I'm developing. Currently, it's just what is actually sending the songs that you're hearing through the stream overlay right now. And it's also what reads the live chat and such and handles it in the application. Sends the live chat over to the front end so that it is shown in the IRC chat that you see on the right. The dispatch is for routing between features and such. So, for instance, with the live chat, what I've got is the chat listener here, which, how does it all work? If I remember right, okay. I think the message router is just for the WebSocket side of things. Yeah, that's all it does. Now I remember. The live chat feature, the way it works is it sees it runs the Python. The Python script sees the messages and then prints them into its output. The JavaScript application here sees the output of the Python script, and then when it does, it runs the on message or on live chat message function or whatever. And currently, the on live chat message is just this, routing the message directly to this. Anything else I put in here to handle these messages could do so as well. I could console.log the message. I could remote handler the message, etc. But each and every message goes through this function. Which makes sense because it is the message router and that's its whole purpose. But if we go into here in the index, where's it at? Yep, here it is. So listener, new chat listener. chat listener gets an on chat function, and right now that function is just routing the message into the message router. And if you go to here, there we go. Right here. Whew. I will definitely say I have had some help making this. I don't understand all of it, for sure. Between Google and Claude, I have definitely had some help throwing this together. I prefer to understand what I'm programming, but initially when I put this together, I was just trying to get it done as fast as I could so that I could get the stream overlay done, because I really wanted to start live streaming my process and maybe get some feedback and such. And the bigger thing is recording my process and being told you shouldn't do stuff this way, you should do this stuff this way, and I can kind of point people when they ask me, what am I working on, to my channel and whatnot. But anyway, I shouldn't have to mess with a lot of these files. It should just be the message router. So we'll go ahead and pin that. And then the voting system is definitely a feature in my opinion. I mean, it's more like a memory thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and make it a feature. Throw it in there. We'll just call it voting. Now, we're going to need some conditions for the voting system. Previously, what I was thinking is people would have to enter a certain string to enter the competition at all, or enter the game. So three and four. Need the ability to assign I forgot exactly what the output of this looks like. I guess the Python's got it pretty well defined. Would be helpful to just be able to log that though. let's assume, I'm going to make assumptions because I can't test it right now. But I'm going to assume that it's passing this object in. Yeah, no, that looks correct to me. If we look at this, I assume all of this is printed onto one line, each chat message is, and that's how you trim it, or that's how we handle one at a time. And then here, yeah, the message is literally that whole line, so it should just be this whole thing. I was a little concerned that I might have just parsed, or I might have just been passing the message around and nothing else. And then I wouldn't know the author's name, the username, of the person that actually sent the message. And if I don't know the username, then I can't assign the username to a team. So, yeah. That shouldn't be an issue, given that the message actually looks like this. Of course, if I was using like C# or something that's a bit more strictly typed, we'd have a message class and these very clearly defined values. But given that we're messing around with JavaScript, we do not have that. There are other ways of doing it. There's TypeScript, there's a myriad of different plugins or extensions or random stuff you can add so that you can more strictly define it. But at that point, the thing is you're fighting what JavaScript wants to do naturally. And in my experience, it's better to use a tool designed for the problem rather than put band-aids on a tool that isn't designed for it. JavaScript isn't designed for strictly typed stuff, so anytime you're trying to make it strictly typed, you are fighting an uphill battle. Anyways, so team assignment. What is that going to look like? Do we throw that into the voting system? I don't think we do, because that's not what the voting system is. I mean, the live chat voting system, that's what it is, but the voting system is a separate thing. Or perhaps, perhaps we're overthinking it. Maybe we just need to make a team voting system. Alternatively, and I might be overthinking it a bit, we might just need a plain voting system and multiple instances of it. Because what I'm thinking with a team voting system is we've got 4 teams. A, B, C, D. We've got user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, etc. As each of these users submit their votes, we then remove them from the pool and tally their votes. 1 vote A, 2 votes B, 3 votes C. You get the idea. And then we move forward with B and we reset the system. In order to do that, we first need the ability to add users to the team. Should we remove users from team? No, we shouldn't. I don't see any reason why we would ever remove users from team. What if a user tries to join a team when it's already joined a team? I don't see a good reason why you'd ever want to remove a user from a team. At least not for this context, but having a user class is probably wise, though. No, I don't see a great reason to do that. Because if I make a user class, what is it holding? It's literally just holding the string that is their username, unless I want to then hold voting information in the user class. But that's not what the user class is. The voter information should be held in the voting class or somewhere around that. If I add voting information to the user, then we're kind of cluttering it. I don't think that's compositional. Perhaps I'm misunderstanding. Now we'll just handle it via voting. Handle it similarly to how we handled songs, I think. Actually, no, this is a great time for me to use Marshnippet. There we go. And In order for message router to work, it needs to have access to this voting stuff. It's a bit messy, but I'm kind of thinking dispatch is meant to be like the intermediary between multiple things. Currently, message router is created in here. It just has WebSocket passed in. Thing is, I'm thinking about making voting a class type thing. It just makes sense. But if we're making it a class, then message router needs access to that class. So we'd need live chat to pass in the voting class. Or we'd need message router to make its own classes. That would make more sense. That would make a lot more sense. Message router just makes its own classes. Yeah. If live chat made the class and passed it in, then we'd be cluttering up what live chat is doing. But message router is meant to be routing it, and currently, I want it routed to voting. If in the future I want it routed to something else, well, then we update the message router. That's the whole purpose of it. All right, sounds good. See, part of me is just contemplating, because if I just look at this real quick, we go back to voting. Don't need any of this. Yeah, we can reference it later if we need to. Maybe ballot. See, ballot isn't. Maybe ballot box. I don't know. I don't have a good word for it. Ballot box isn't bad, I guess. There's got to be a better word for a voting container. But a ballot box is just, it's a good word for it. It's just a bit unintuitive in my brain, but it's fine. We'll call it a ballot box. Anyways, none of this is necessary. None of this is necessary. We'll keep you in there. I don't think we need much. Need to know who the voter's ID, or who the voters are, so we'll just say voter IDs. So, I'm pretty sure it was a hashtag, yeah. Used to having to define types in classes, because they handle, I work with C# quite a bit. Voter IDs. And are we just doing camel case, or are we doing... Yeah, just camel case. Okay, stick with camel case. Voter IDs. Need to know who's already voted, so... hasn't voted. And then we also need the tally for each option. Given each voter needs to be unique, we can do it like this, and then we don't need to do any of this. Same with this. Just kind of note down what I'm envisioning. I'm thinking a voter, let's say we have there. And that is what voters are supposed to look like. And as for options, I'm thinking just something like that. That's what I'm envisioning. This will have to be a key of some kind. Username being the key makes plenty of sense. What you voted for could be useful, but not something that's strictly necessary right now. This is not the most efficient way of handling this. No, it isn't. It really isn't. I can do it this way. It's an option. But ideally, you want to be using arrays and the indexes of the voters. But we can do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to make it work. Okay, I would just do Of course, now if we have duplicate valid option IDs, we should never have duplicate valid option IDs though. If we have a duplicate valid option ID, we have problems. And we might as well do this. It's more clear. Might be a better word for that. I just don't know it. Vocabulary is surprisingly important. That'll just be our handler for now. I mean, we could just say these are the voters, these are the ballot options for our vote class, but that would make it inflexible. The big thing I'm considering is that I don't need to add more ballot options. I just need to define the ballot options once. And I think that will usually be the case. And given that, I'm kind of just like, do this, and then why did you just do that? Stop doing this. Why are you doing all of this? Stop it. Anyways, count 0. We could do the same thing with voters in the constructor. That I'm not going to. See, the question becomes is the ballot box responsible for knowing and sharing what the options are? Because if it is, then we need a title, description, and the number of votes for that option. For my use case, does it need that? For my use case, it wouldn't be bad to have. Well then, let's ask ourselves, does a ballot box know? Ballot box just knows what goes into it. It's a bit of a gray area, honestly. Not sure. Well, at the very least, I know that I have to submit a vote still, so submit vote equals that assumes that the ballot option ID exists, but let's just assume that for a moment. could have it throw an error alternatively, or maybe there's a better way to handle this, but I can't think of one. Really, we should never be submitting a vote that doesn't already have a ballot option. All right. What I'm saying is we should never be submitting an invalid vote. The voter ID should always be defined. The ballot option ID should always be defined, as long as we're using this class properly. If we're not using this class properly, this just handles that so that we're not throwing errors. But yeah. Now we need to be able to get the vote or get the current tally. We could get vote tally, get vote tallies. Yeah, no, tally is definitely the word for it. So get vote tallies. And what we're doing is we are honestly, we could just return ballot options. Of course, we want to be careful about returning that as is. We really need to replicate it. So, because otherwise we're returning an object that can be changed, and then it'll change our internal private object that we don't want touched outside of this class. Do we want to return all of the votes, or do we just want to return the highest vote? Both, actually, on a pretty regular basis, too. Okay, yeah, it's best if we are able to. Alright. This dot hashtag ballot options. I forgot what it is, but you can do object dot keys or something. Object dot keys. Names of properties and methods. Gotcha. And what we do is this hashtag ballot options opt. Or we could just do something more along the lines with this. Yeah, it's much more clear. Yeah, this isn't going to be very long. We can go ahead and just use this. I feel like ballot options is doing too much work. Because it's holding the options themselves and also the count for those options. That's more like a tally. It doesn't mean that we can't keep it named that, but yeah. Tally ballot option ID, and then that will give us the count. And then we can return the result. If I add more stuff, as long as it's only one layer deep, we're good. Anyways, get vote tallies, that's one thing, and then or we could just say get tallies. Yeah. Then we're going to want to just Of course, we could always just handle this with submit vote. the current top option is always known. Yeah, that feels reasonable. and it's less readable. Something I could do, but it is not a good idea. Alrighty, count is greater than top count equals count. I also need to set top ID. Okay. And once that's through, we should have the that we can do something fairly simple to finish this out. Are you actually returning anything, or did I forget that part? There we go. All right. That gets us the highest option, which we can then use to that. Okay, cool. And then this is as simple as this dot tally, this dot being as it's one-dimensional, it shouldn't be a copy. We can go ahead and test that real quick to verify. Ready? Well, that's good to know. That could have created an issue later if I did not know that. Now I'm assuming if we do this, good to know. good. Alrighty. What is next? Let's simplify this real quick. For the sake of my brain. There. Alright, the big reason we've been working around actually doing the one-dimensional copies, or whatever you call it, of the objects, rather than just copying over the count, is because I've been considering doing something other than just the count inside of Tally. I'd also like to have a title and a description for each of the options. Or potentially have a title and description for each of the options. So really, what would be best is if we had a ballot option class defined as well. This one needs an ID. You could also do the count just in this, rather than having it in here. That it's not a bad idea. Where's my OBS? Oh, there it is. Testing. Gotcha. Alrighty. I will be back in a moment. Alrighty, back at it. Let's see what we got. Ballot option. I mean, technically we can just do. There we go. The way we've set up this voting system is it'll work with singular votes, which in the end is all we're doing. We're going to be handling one at a time, so it's fine. So ballot option .vote, that'll work. I'll be a little bit lazy with it, and it's fine. Also, this does need to be exported. I'm sure these were private. do it. Why are we using the IDs anymore? Just do this. No reason to be using anything else. There is actually kind of. But we can get rid of that right now. Of course, that is more convoluted than just this. Really is, yeah. But it does allow us to do this. There is a good reason to do that. I know I don't have to do that, but do it anyway. Big reason is if this changes, this doesn't change. And now what we can do is boom. We don't even have to do that, we just do ballot option.load. We could do the same thing, create like a voters class real quick too if we wanted to. And there's no good reason not to. It'd be more expandable than this is, so. And we can largely just copy the same thing over. There are some mild reasons not to. Keeping it all in one place does have its benefits, but yeah, whatever. Okay, that should do it. And then add voter. Why would we ever need the ID? It's a dictionary, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. New voter. The ID is just. Alright. And you shouldn't be exported. Ballot option needs to be exported, but the voter is an internal thing. That ought to do it. And just to maintain my sanity a little bit. Boom. There. Okay, now we're gonna have to rewrite quite a bit in the ballot box. None of them should equal null at this point. I don't even think that's a real possibility. We have a much deeper issue if one of them equals null. Tally ID. We don't even need to know the count. We can just do valid opt, compare it to the Let me just test that real quick. Pretty sure that's the way it works, but I have to check. Const A equals. Yep. It's good. All right, moving on. To do is valid option dot top valid option, which will compare the two. Undefined will work just as well as null will. That should do it. We don't need any of that anymore. And I don't like that being there, so do this, 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 and this. Okay. That's just, I'm gonna do a quick go over everything. Get valid option works as intended, constructor. Works as intended. Honestly, yeah, it's better to just put that there. That looks good. Looks good. Looks good. actually wanting to get the voter, so const voter equals voters voter ID. Or we can do, well, it's essentially the same thing. Speaking of it essentially being the same thing, there's no reason to do this. This is just extra code for no reason. This dot hashtag tally valid option ID. This dot hashtag voters voter ID. Voter dot voted no, that's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, I assure you. I think you're just being dumb, VS Code. Oh wait, no. No, you're not. Voter.vote. Why are we not checking if they've already voted? Were we not doing that before? Oh no, we weren't. If this is the null checks. If voter.voted, we can also return vote. That looks good. Yeah, looks good. We've already checked. Yeah, we've already checked this, so we're good. And this is no longer in use, so it doesn't need to exist. And yeah, we said that looks good, so we're moving on. Get tally. I don't see this ever being necessary. And that can stay like that. I don't need to waste my time reformatting. Get top should just be top valid option. Boom. Ready. So, from an external perspective, this is private, so that doesn't matter. The biggest concern would be how much of this can be screwed with from the outside. None of it. It's only accessible via this, and all of that just pulls from private variables. Okay. This looks good. I mean, at this point, I kind of want to just throw it through a test run and kind of see what happens. obviously this doesn't need to exist. Neither does that. Not for the test run anyway. You should have some defaults. There we go. Alrighty. ID, count, title, description. Looks good. ID A, count. Well, count's already got a default, so. There we go. B, C, D. One of these days, I will learn to do multi-line editing in Linux Mint. There. Alrighty, A, B, C, D. We have the options. Now we need to pass in set options. Also could be useful to do this. Don't want to mess with it. Cancel. Keep you there. Oh. And there we go. This could be useful to put that there. That's all I care about. Also, yes, please do save that. I was kind of hoping that it would give me a I was kind of hoping it would have the equals array there. I know the default gives me options to look at, but guess not. It would be really nice though. Regardless, we now have ballot options and a box. Next thing we need is a voter. So new voter ID. We'll just say your ID is A. The ID will normally be a username from one of the chatters, but for a quick check, this will work fine. Voter B, voter C, voter D. There we go. And moving on. Box.add voter. Wait, we don't actually need to do what I just did, my bad. And that does everything that does. And then finally we can do box.vote or box.submit vote. That should just be vote. Yeah, it should just be vote. There. Boom. Okay, back to it. Box.vote. Voter ID. Just say A. And ballot option ID. We'll say A. And we'll just do this 4 times and make sure we get 1 for each. Boom. And we need to actually I'm betting this isn't going to work, but we will find out. Console.log box.getTally. Let's just see what that does real quick. This is on line 99. Well, voter can't be equaling null, otherwise we'd have different issues. Okay. There is no voter. Return. There is no ballot option to return. Honestly, more than that, I'm curious, what is the voter ID that you're passing in? Passing in A. Okay. And you're trying to get that from this stuff. Hashtag voters. Boom. Let's see what you do. Okay, the voter has not been added, but it should have been. That suggests that add voters isn't working. It's this. This is what's happening. I hate. This is gonna suck. Okay, we could just do. We're gonna have to do a bind. Or we can do a for loop instead. All right, let's kind of see what happens. It might work, might not, we'll see. Okay. We're gonna have to do a little bit more debugging than that. ID is going undefined. Hopefully that gives me my answer. Okay, so ABCD, add voter. So logged console.log ID. This dot add voter ID. So there's the issue. Boom. Where is that coming from, I wonder? At the very least, I think we're good to get rid of these now. And go ahead and give that a run. Okay. Voter is still undefined. It's rather interesting. Why? Voter ID isn't undefined. It's the voters is still undefined. So when we're adding a voter, it just isn't adding. Console.log voter ID. Okay, let's give that a run. Is it not reaching that, or is it not logging that? Two very different problems. Doesn't look like it's reaching that, which makes me wonder. Yeah, it's this. This is very strange. Okay. It could be undefined. That could be the whole problem. Yep, there's the issue. We could just make it falsy, a falsy check, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, see what happens with that. Okay, so we have the voter. These all seem to be working. We're getting to this, which means we need to check that ballot option is getting through the way it's supposed to. Console.log ballot option. Let's start with that. Undefined, yeah. No, it is not getting through the way it's supposed to. This can just be falsy checking. Though I kind of just want this to go through regardless right now. Okay. What are we looking at? Ballot option. Ballot option. The issue isn't that ballot option.vote doesn't exist, or that might be an issue, but first issue is that ballot option itself doesn't exist. So let's start by console logging the ballot option ID. Then console.log the and we'll kind of go from there. Show me what we got. That's not good. Undefined. I see the issue. We don't want things being able to get or alter any of this, so we have to do ballot.get, boom, and that should resolve that. What is the issue at this point? Well, that's not good. I'm assuming what's happening is pretty simple. It's just getting this. And the current ballot option doesn't exist, so blah blah blah. Or current top ballot option doesn't exist. What do you mean? I see. There's an issue. What we could do is simply filter. Could throw in a quick filter, honestly. which might be beneficial to throw into a utils, but we won't mess with that. Instead of filtering, we'll just do this. There. That should resolve that. No issues, it looks like. Okay. Let's take a look at where all the console logs are at. That's the only one, so that's the tally. Ah, I see. Yep. Not quite what I was going for. But actually it works fine. From the perspective of programming, it works fine. From the perspective of me being able to visually confirm everything, not great. So let's go ahead and just do box.getTally object.values box.getTally for each. Shouldn't you have an ID? You should. There. Okay, that should help. Moving on. That should work. Cool. Don't need you. And what if they all voted for... Oh, 2 of them voted for A, 2 of them voted for D. Also, moreover, you're not checking that the voters have, well, voted. So that's kind of important as well. Well, the biggest thing we could do to check that is just have them try to vote multiple times, see if it works. It doesn't. They can't vote multiple times. Is there anything else worth testing? No, I think we got it. Okay. This is pretty much what it'll look like when I need to set up the votes. I'm pretty happy with the system. It's probably more over engineered than it needs to be, but I did really try to make it so that it's not tied together with the live stream chat, so that I can use it for other stuff. Like I said, I'm really trying to get into compositional programming. Got inspired by like a YouTube video a while back, and it just feels like a good way of handling larger scale projects without having to refactor every time you want to make a new thing. But we will see. At the end of the day, I might have even made this do too many things. I could have split this into smaller parts, but if that becomes a necessity in the future, I can definitely do that. But the big thing is that this is not digging into anything upward. It's not digging into a parent component or a parent function or class, etc., etc. Its functionality is by itself. So if something needs to be done with this in the future, because let's say I've built this in such a way where it's overcomplicated, or it is, or if it can be split up into more parts to make it clearer and more sustainable, then all I need to do is change this file, these couple classes, etc., etc. It's not digging into something above it, where I have to refactor, I don't know, index.js. Because if I had to refactor any part of this, it would affect pretty much the whole project. So the big point of composition, as far as I can tell, I'm not a professional by any means, is that you build this stuff so that if something breaks, it only breaks itself and potentially what's below it. So refactoring is more trivial. If you want to add new stuff, it's more trivial. It doesn't touch anything above. That's the idea. Anyways, let me go ahead and get this just copied over. We did refactor a little bit of this and make some changes. Loading. Motor. Alrighty. Go ahead and close that. That's just a bright screen in my face. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Well, we obviously don't need that. I don't know about this feature thing here. I don't know if this should even be in features, or if this should be a helper. Because all my other features, like live chat and the songs, they touch the front end directly. But this isn't touching the front end at all. This feels more like a helper and not as much like a feature to me. Potentially a data folder could be nice. I'm really hesitant to add I'm really hesitant to add more folders to the root of the project. I don't like adding new stuff to the root of the project because it inflates it. And every single folder I add means every single file that I add in the future, I have to mentally go over all of the folders and be like, does it belong here? Does it belong here? Does it belong here? And that process becomes more demanding every single folder that there is. If there's more options, just thinking over the purpose of each one. We got config, which is the config for the project. Dispatch is for tying things together. So right now I have a message router, and what it is doing is broadcasting the chat messages to the front end. In the future, it will also be taking in messages and checking if it should be those messages correlate to a vote for the dungeon crawler actions, or those messages correlate to something that the front end should be doing. Like if somebody says do a flip or something, I could make the whole screen do a flip, that kind of stuff. But dispatch is for tying features into other things. Really what I want the dispatch to be doing is when things need to be tied together, that's what dispatch is for. I don't want stuff to be tied together in features, because that breaks away from compositional programming where each feature should be its own self-contained thing. Dispatch is not its own dispatch is its own self-contained thing in the way of it is literally handling multiple parts at once, but by handling multiple parts at once, it's kind of breaking away from what I want features to do. Features, on the other hand, has already been explained. Generally, it's stuff that touches the front end in some way, or is just fairly meaningful to the project as a whole. Voting is more like a sub-feature, not a feature. Or like a helper for a feature. Which I guess I could make the whole thing like a helper specifically for that feature, but then it becomes something that I can't access easily to be used with other stuff. I'd have to import from that feature, which is not something I want to do. Framework is just the foundational stuff. Utils is stuff that I can use in other projects. Arguably I can't use the voting class that I've made in other projects. I mean, I could, but it's not realistic. And the polar, what was the polar for? Do something every so often until it's true. That's what this is, right? Yes, as far as I can tell. Pass in a function. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay. I think a helpers folder is just the way to go here. It doesn't fit. If it fit into anything, it would be a features voting helpers. I can't see it going anywhere else. I don't like adding something to the root of the project, but in this case I think it's worthwhile. Anyways, we'll And I think this is done by itself. I don't think there's any reason I'm ever going to need to import anything. Features. Let's go ahead and just delete voting, I think. Keep you in helpers. The voter is internal. It doesn't need to exist externally. And have we deleted all the random nonsense at the bottom? That we have not. Boom. Of course, we could just give this a run real quick to make sure everything's working. Node helpers / ballotbox.js. Yep, everything's working. Up a little bit, and there. Save. Okay. I've deleted you from features. We can delete this safely. Alright, looking at this. Yeah, resetting options just means making a new ballot box. There's no point for a ballot box to reset itself. We can submit a vote. Resetting is dull. We can define options along with all kinds of extras for those options. We can add a user to the ballot box. We'll have 4 different ballot boxes for the 4 different players. That's already handled. Yes, they can already be marked off as they go along via the voted. It's all handled. We don't have the joining teams yet. That is something we need to do. I don't know. How long have I been streaming for? Only about 3 hours. So what all goes into joining a team? Well, there's a couple different things I could do. I was thinking some kind of randomly generated thing, so maybe ABC, Dungeon Crawler, Team 1. Something like that. Of course, we can also just do alphanumeric and just, well, yeah, ABC. Join team 1. Something like that. really like there's a few things. One, I would like it to be as short as possible, but if I make it really short, it becomes unreadable. And it might just lead to more mistakes. Another big thing is, I'm not sure I want dungeon in there because that's a word that's easy for some people to misspell. So generally I'd like to keep the character count down. I do want a random element to it so that people aren't just botting it. They actually have to be watching the stream and enter the randomly generated key, which would just be 3 letters like this. I could just do this. And then another issue that I foresee is, especially at scale. At a smaller scale, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and I might just lock it at a smaller scale so that it doesn't get ridiculous. But how do people know when they've joined the team successfully? I could create some toasts or just essentially pop-ups in my stream overlay that kind of says, this user joined this team, or this user cast this vote, etc., etc. It could be, or it could be something that goes in with the whatever front end that I make for the dungeon crawler in the stream overlay. Excuse me. But at that point, a lot of this is becoming a design decision. I don't mind this, especially if there's some feedback to let the viewers know that what they did worked or what they did not work. That feedback has to exist, and it's kind of difficult to create that feedback via the stream. It's not an individual medium, it's a medium for multiple users. Actually, might as well save this. We'll just say are or not server. And we'll just save you on desktop. At this point, we're at the priority of message routing, really. And I'm kind of thinking commands could be handled with like some kind of key slash key, then the command, then the params, the command. And the key would be the randomly generated thing, which would probably just be random per stream. And the key functions to do two things. One, it functions to let me know, or let the API know that this message is a command and should be processed as such. And the second thing it does, given that it's random, is it forces the entity that inputs the message to know what the key is. And the only way to know what the key is if they look at the stream. So they can't just bot the crap out of it. Unless they have a bot that reads the video from the stream and gets the code that way, which is totally viable. They could do that. But it's non-trivial. And if I do some other stuff, it would become much more difficult to even just do that. This is a context switch. I might stream again today, but I really don't want to just immediately switch over to doing something else like this. I'm going to take a break, and I may come back and work on this more, but right now I'm going to chillax. Regardless, what we did today was we made this ballot box class, kind of showed off my API as a whole, which is something I worked on fairly recently. Or not. I already had the API built, I just didn't have it cleaned up like this. To be 100% honest, before I cleaned this up, all of the API existed in one index.js. It was really bad. I'm much happier with this, honestly. But the ballot box should function as our, well, voting system, essentially. Or not whole system, but it functions as a ballot box. That's its whole thing. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyways, peace. Good stream. Bubble. If I come back, I'll make a part 2 of part 4, I guess.